Clearance and settlement systems. Bank transfers usually take about 3 days to process. A period of time that barely corresponds to the current pace of the world we live in. Not only does this frustrate the customer, it frustrates the bank itself. The fact that the average bank transfer takes 3 days to process has a lot to do with how our financial infrastructure is built. To make a bank transfer, you have to go through an intermediaries system. This may include correspondent banks, custodians, and other financial institutions acting as intermediaries. A simple bank transfer from one account to another must bypass a complex intermediary system before reaching its destination. Extensive involvement of middlemen is costly and risky as each intermediary adds fees and potential errors to the transaction. Not to mention the extra time each institution takes to get the transfer through. If you want to send money from your Unicredit Banca account in Italy to your Wells Fargo bank account in the United States, the transfer is processed through the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Communication, SWIFT, sending 44.8 million messages per day to an additional 11,000 financial institutions. Unicredit Banca and Wells Fargo do not have an established financial relationship, so you will need to search the SWIFT network for a correspondent bank that has a relationship with both banks and can process the transaction for a fee. Each correspondent bank maintains separate ledgers for the sending and receiving banks. In other words, these different ledgers have to be reconciled at the end of the day. The centralized SWIFT protocol does not actually send funds. Send payment instructions only. Real money is processed through a system of intermediaries. Each middleman adds additional costs to the transaction and creates potential points of disappointment. By using distributed ledgers, banks can track all transactions more efficiently, speeding up the overall process.